Caribbean party, the entire region together in one big splashdown fiesta. A Caribbean connection, original vibration. I say we jamming to the sounds of the Caribbean, we grooving to calypso and steel band. This Jamboree Irie is one love, so feel free, for we are the people of the Caribbean, showing that we don't want no basin plan. I say we jamming to the sounds of the Caribbean, we grooving to calypso and steel band. Getting together, so should every leader, for we are one people, one destination. So let us move on without hesitation. I say we jamming to the sounds of the Caribbean, we grooving to calypso and steel band. The venue is Tobago, and it's going to be a grand show, a true Caribbean kind of mix up. When we start to jam up, we go in non-stop. I say we jamming to the songs of the Caribbean, we grooving to calypso and steel band.
Almost Koliga, King of the whole earth, your reign is forever, thou God of all flesh. Almost Koliga, King of the whole earth, your reign is forever, oh Lord, your throne is excellent. Oh, ancient of days, your so we lay before your feet, Lord. Your throne, oh, ancient of days, King of all kings. For your feet, Lord, for your own, in heaven and earth. Every knee must bow before your throne, Lord. Every tongue must confess that you are the Lord. Every knee must bow before your throne, Lord. Every tongue must confess that you are the Lord. Your throne is established. Oh, I said okay. All years are known. Oh, King of all things. So we love you every day. Be Lord, for you are all glory. You never know. Your throne is established. Your word said King of all kings. So we lay our crowns down before your holy feet, Lord. For the glory. In Lagonato, there's no God like you, and in the earth below, no God besides you. In heaven above, no God besides you. Oh, generous, so we lay for your feet, Lord. So Yes, his throne is established. You're listening to Gem FM. I'm your host, the Sheriff. Yours truly, John Collins. Welcome to our Saturday show again. One more time, Dr. Paul Innes out of Africa. And, you know, today is really a good day, a day of celebration for many people. Today is what I will call Valentine's weekend, yeah? A Valentine weekend where persons celebrate Valentine. Some church, for example, decide to not call it Valentine, but they choose to call it beloved dinner. Yes, a beloved dinner. So as it is established, so it is. So after Valentine, so today at 5 p.m., the New Life Worship Center is holding its beloved dinner at the New Life Worship Center, 925 Western Road, York, Ontario. $30 donation, Saturday, February 11th at 5 p.m. So don't forget that, don't miss it. Today is the day. Also, Side Chick, Side Chick Day Comedy Show happening February the 15th after Valentine's. The day after Valentine's, that's when you take the girlfriend out. Yeah? I tell you, 2800 Danforth Avenue. Music by PD Boyce. Yes, admission is $27. Hosted by Kevin Christopher. All right, those open at 7:30. Show starts at 8 p.m. Don't forget, check it out. Also today, a big day today, and that day is really the Independence Gala taking place today again at 55 Barber Green Road, North York, Ontario. Tickets are $120. Cocktails at 6 p.m., dinner at 8 p.m. If you're still in search of tickets, 416-258-1681, that's for Sandra. Jerry, 416-648-2721. Lorian, 647-890-4753. And Maurice is 647-456-3743. That's the contact persons to get your tickets. I got a reservation for one. So I'll get at Ola's Kitchen. Talking about Ola's Kitchen today, folks, you go to Ola's Kitchen and I tell them on Gem FM. And oops, and you need on your mic, right? So tell them on Gem FM and you come to get your breakfast. She's at 477 Oakwood Avenue in Toronto. So come on down, go and get your breakfast. As a matter of fact, and you have oil long today too. So as we celebrate independence, we also have oil long to go with that. So you can also check Ola out today as well for your oil long. Let them know you're on Gem FM, right? And Ola Kitchen number here is, let me get this color. Ola. Oh. Ola Kitchen, yeah, it's 647-347-9776. All right, so go check her out and get yourself an oil down. Call before you get there to reserve your oil down today. All right, again, don't forget to after this evening the Greater Association Toronto, under the patronage of the Consul General of Grenada,
For tickets, contact Sandra at 416-258-1681, Jerry 416-648-2721, Lorianne 647-890-4753, and Maurice at 647-456-3743. And that's the numbers to call. All right. So as I continue right here on Gem FM, I want to let you know that we're going to go back to Grenada, celebrating our independence. Yes, our independence is celebrated right here. And check this one out. Peter Humphrey.
As a young man, I love to roam. Many years I spent from going places I don't know where. Every boy without any care. One night I dreamt about my home and all those beautiful things around, beckoning me to come on home to my island in the sun, for the spices and cool, bright sunshine, silvery drops falling gently. I must go back. Little island is calling. I saw the valley so fresh and green. Children play, what a beauty. I saw mom and dad, neighbors, brothers and sisters. I peace alone, but I don't want them to know this. When I think of the peace and love that still exists, then I knew I must return to my island in the heavenly place. Bright sunshine, smiling faces, oh so happy. I must go back, my little island is called. Bright sunshine, silvery drops falling gently. I must go back. I must go back. My island is calling.
Yes, my little island is calling me. Good morning again, Greater Carriacou and Peter Martin, as we celebrate 49 years of independence. And it's no strange thing to us. We love to celebrate, and today is no different. However, I want to give a shout out to Christoph, yes, who I met at the in the parking lot of Wendy's. I want to say good evening to you and your friend. Can't remember her name right now, but again, blessings if you guys are listening right now. This is Black History Month as well as our independence of Grenada. So in this same likeness of celebration, I want to play you this one from the Mighty Trogdors. Which one goes like this? I want my grandfather's back pay.
My grandfather walked like a mule on Stallmeyer escape. The cutlass in and lifting them heavy grapefruit crate. My grandfather walking life out for all them French Creoles. Cutting cane, picking coffee and burning coals. But while my grandfather was perspiring, the wealthy French Creoles were gathering. Now their grandchildren living in luxury and making style on me and me fight with me. I want my grandfather back there. Yeah, what I say? They owe me grandfather back there. Them where I'm born to. I want my grandfather back there. I want to listen me there. They owe me grandfather back there. Before child comes and dilemma, O'Brien, Grant and O'Connor build their bank books and build their empire from the sweat of my grandfather. My grandfather worked like a horse. It was blood, sweat, tears, and good force. No house, no land, no bank book, no pension to leave for his grandchildren. I want my grandfather back there. They owe me grandfather back there. When we come and jail, I want him to stand me there. My grandfather cut lacho and dance coco by Mr. Gibbs. My grandfather had to cut grass, feed and clean the horses and run errands for the wives of the white horses. And while my granddad outside gardening, the wife inside the white woman kitchen, cooking, washing, starching, bleaching, ironing. And on she had a pin, piece of white linen. I want my grandfather back there. I want Mr. Jackie. They owe me grandfather back there. I want my grandfather back there. From west side of the they owe me grandfather back there. Mr. Bolton, Gina Brigger, Mr. Booth, Hopkins, and Fletcher left their bank books for their son and daughter. That was sent from my grandfather. My grandfather worked like a horse. It was blood, sweat, tears, and good force. No house, no land, no bank book, no pension to leave for his grandchildren. I want my grandfather back there. They owe me grandfather back there. See where back to Villa, somewhere here to used to carry me to Manzanilla to dry copra, for Gaston the dance the French planter. Sometimes we would walk from Church Road to Tortuga about 12 miles. Took the Corinne from Mr. Adrian the Fertile. When William Gordon found the Gordon Grant, the grandma mixed cement to build that plant and taught dry goods in clockers back by the tons. For the Oprahs and Sons and his friend Alstons. I want my grandfather back there. They owe me grandfather back there. French boys, I want my grandfather back there. They owe me grandfather back there. All starts working till he gets old. Grandpa takes so much hot and cold. In the night, if you hear the old man groan, arthritis dry up all the bone. No medicine, no doctor fee. The society guarantee. Bury in Lavante Cemetery, unceremoniously. I want my grandfather back there. God declare today, they owe me grandfather back there. I say that Pumwe Pale. War declare today. Engazimas manje. Dedicated to your grandfather and mine, for the beats of perspiration that flowed from their foreheads in our interest, and for Isaac Liverpool, my father, who worked hard beyond the call of familial duty to give me an education. For this, we say thanks.
Yes, that was Paul King Douglas. Right now we have the man Randy Isaac on top here, right here on Gem FM. Randy Isaac, as we celebrate 49 years of independence. We call Oh Grenada.
Grenada, Grenada, the land where I was born. I know you were suffering. Men have raped you and abused you and left you there crying. I devote my thought, my body and my soul. I stretch forth my helping hand to help you out. I haven't got diamond, silver, or even gold, but blessings I give to its west, north, and south. Oh, green Grenada, Grenada, sweet, sweet Grenada. I will never, ever, ever let you down. Oh no, I'll always be your support, right here by your side. With my arms around you to wipe your weeping eyes. Oh, yeah. It's quite a long time now since you have fallen back to the last rung of the ladder, and the neighbors stand up there and utter no talk, but to help they just don't bother. Some of your friends have done the backs on you. They don't want to see a friend with your name on it. Don't bother with them. One day you will rise up to. Cause in times to come, it's the bread they might talk to it. So listen, let me go. Oh, Grenada, Grenada, there I come. Sweet, sweet Grenada. I will never, ever, never let you down. Oh no. I'll always be your support, right here by your side. With my arms around you to wipe your weeping eyes. Let me go. Listen, it's time that you take a stand to defend your position from all those smart reebok scams who just come to take a bite and make their own decision and boast to the world that they are the reigning champ. While your friends them happy had times they were going through, they still wouldn't help you out if you beg them please. But woe unto them Little do they know that a good name is better than great riches. Oh, Grenada, Grenada, here I come. Sweet, sweet Grenada. I will never, ever, ever let you go. Oh no, I'll always be your support right here by your side. With my arms around you to wipe your weeping eyes. Oh, Grenada, Grenada, sweet, sweet Grenada. I will never, ever, ever let you down. Oh no, I'll always be your support right here by your side. With a big festival to wipe your weeping eye. There we go. If you feel living like me, feel free to say, I love my country. Oh yeah. Grenada. Oh, I love you, Grenada. I'll always be right by your side, Grenada. Oh, yes, it's me, Pablo.
Well. Before I go any further with Pablo, all right, it's me, Pablo. This is Paul King Douglas, and I'll cue it up. It's storytelling, okay? It's part of our folklore, and this man today is our 40th anniversary, and he's been around for about probably almost more than about 40 years now, right? 50 years, if you will, doing this poetry storytelling, right? So here is Paul King that's out of Grenada, Carriacou, and Pity Martin. And some people say, John, he live all his life in Trinidad. Well, he's a son of the soil, all right? Just like Sparrow is, and Valentino and many others, he is one of those many people. So out of many, Jamaicans say one people.
Mr. Ryson? Yes, it's me, Pablo. Why I not at work? That is a good question, sir. I have something to tell you, sir. I fired the work. That's right, I done. How I mean I fired the work? I mean I finished, I quit all for all down, sir. You see this teaching people to drive business? Well, sir, that ain't made for me at all. You remember the woman you sent me with yesterday? And it's not only a little brushing up you say she wants. Eh? It's not yourself tell me she been driving for 6 months. Well, Mr. Ryson, when she tell you she been driving for 6 months, you should have asked she what? Because I show us donkey cart she mean. Sir, that woman don't know one end of a car from the next, you know. In the first place, sir, before we even move off, she pull out the choke. Well, sir, when I see she do that, I say, the woman knows she onions. She know how to drive. But you know why she do that, sir? Was to hang up the handbag. That's right, sir. Hang up the handbag. I had to beg she, Dudu, darling, please put back in the people's choke. Then we try moving off. Sir, if you look in the back of the garage, you're going to see something that looks like a window. Well, it's not a window. That is where the car hits her. She move off in reverse and she mash up your whole wall, you know. I should have known better, Mr. Ryson. I should have known better. But as you self tell me the woman driving for 6 months. When I asked she, if she sure she want to go on the road, she tell me she done pay she money already. And it's going. So it's gone, we gone. Well, sir, that was the second mistake I make. The first one was when I start to work for you. I saying it now and I saying it again. Never me to teach no woman to drive no motor car. Not even my grandmother could get me to teach, sir. I mean, I know the car in short, but it's a shame to treat a motor car, sir. Sir, listen. The woman ain't even look twice at the garage wall, you know. She just ram in the first and she take off. And when I say ramming, sir, I mean ramming, you know. I mean, the foot ain't even reach anywhere near the clutch yet, you know. So all I know is 1 minute we in the garage, the next minute we on Wrightson Road going the wrong way. Sir, you ever drive down Wrightson Road the wrong way? Well, sir, I don't know how I living to tell this story. You know. What? Yes, sir. What I've been doing all this time. Mr. Wrightson, all I could do, sir, was to fasten my safety belt and pray for the police. Because the speed that woman be going at, sir, if I did ever even touch she, dead. Yes, sir. Why I ain't stopped she? Mr. Wrightson, like you don't understand the position. Said the woman is going about 60 miles an hour, you know. She 2 eyes staring straight down the road. She mouth set like 10 rat trap. She 2 hands stick onto the steering wheel. And it's straight down the road we going, sir. All I could do, sir, was pray and pray and pray. You remember Tingale? Yes. The same Tingale who liked to lie by we. She nearly killed he. You know how Tingale have a habit of skylarking with motor car? That man never happy unless a car bumper almost touched the pants. Well, this is one time he misjudged, you know, sir. When Tingale see the car coming, sir, he must have thought was one of we driving. And he know that we like to do him a little thing and slow down for him to cross the road in style. So when he see the car coming, he start to cross the road in style, sir. If you see him, sir, he 2 hands in the pocket, he head throw back, he eye up in the air, and he whistling, sir. All you say, Tingale old and he can't move. Eh? Sir, when Tingale realized that the car ain't slowing down in truth, sir, he eye open big, like he in shock. And was to see that man jump, sir. So they're still talking about that jump down on Wrightson Road. You say Tingale can't move, eh? So he jumped 6 foot straight up and 20 foot across, sir. And by the way, sir, snow cone cat. It named Kilimanjaro. It was parked up on the sidewalk and she swear it away with the left fender. And you think she stopped? Stop, boy, sir. But one thing I could say for she, you know, sir. If it's one thing she learned in 6 months, is how to change gear. Sir, that woman changed gear like it's going out of style. All wrong, you know, all wrong, sir, all wrong. And talk about signals, sir. Well, sir, she must have thought all mean go because she ain't stopped for none. And on top of that, sir, she started to sing. Sing, I say, yes, I sing. You know the song, The Way We Was? Well, I sure you don't know it the way she sing it, sir. So she started to sing that song at the top of her voice like we're going to dead any moment. But what really had me frightened, sir, was when we cut up French Street and bushed through the savannah. You know, the woman jumped the pavement, and next thing I know, we're on the racetrack. That is another thing you have to pay for, the fencing. She mashed it up. All the fencing mashed up, sir. What I've been doing all this time. You have the heart to ask me that, Mr. Wrightson. What I've been doing all this time. So I tell you, I've been praying like 10 pundit. When I see she bushed through the savannah, sir, and head up Cascade, I say she have motive, we go in St. Anne's. But then she slowed down. She really slowed down. She dropped from about 65 to 40, sir. But it was because she should heel brake. And you know what she do, sir? She bend down under the dashboard to pick it up. Well, sir, I tell you, we miss a Texaco tanker by a If we had one more coat of paint, we bounce, sir. Where I calling from? I thought you would have never asked that. Where I calling from? Mount Hololo, sir. Mount Hololo. How we stop? A big stone, sir. A big stone. Car? What car? It used to be a car. The car mash up, sir. You have to put out plenty pesh to fix that, and you better send the record now. No, the woman, sir. She gone home so long. She called a taxi and she gone, sir. I hear she say she have a next appointment with we. But she don't know is with you, sir. Because I quit, I finished, sir. I fired the work, sir.
I quit. I done. I fired the work, sir.
That's one of his classics, man.
Yeah,
It never gets old, you know.
At all. You know, I listen to him, you know, and that's one of the things about what Gem FM does, right? We go back in time. Anytime you tune into Gem FM, you can find something, a song, or a story, a speech by some ancient historian, a storyteller, or politician, motivationals. We have everything. And, you know, from time to time, people say, I never heard this thing for a long, long time, you know? And they come to Gem FM and they hear all this stuff. They get it, they get everything. They get a full, it's like a buffet. They come in here and they get everything. So yeah, Park Intervals have been around for almost 50 years, eh? Yeah? And it keeps still going strong, my brother, still going strong. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good this morning. A little tired, but I'm doing well. Your audio went out. I don't know if you're hearing me.
Yeah, I was asking for a background flag.
Oh.
You're great. You know, today we have a gala in Toronto, right? It's happening today at 6:30 p.m. The cocktail starts and the dinner starts at 8 p.m. I know Shirin is here from Guelph, the Minister of Environment. She is here. She's been around. The greater the NDC support group have been having some like, stuff with them over the couple of weeks. And
yeah, but this is Independence celebration, so they can't make it about NDC.
Yeah, no, I think the group is.
They have to thread that line, you know.
No. What I'm saying that the group that she here for the dinner is the Council General and the Grainer Association organized that. But I think the NDC group over here have had a sort of a get together with the group over here.
I'm against that because you see she's on a state trip. So if she's on a state trip, she should not be doing political work.
Well, I guess she's also,
we have to grow up. These are tough things that we have to swallow.
Yeah, but I think she'll be at the Grainer dinner. So I think it's a national, everybody go meet and greet her too, right? I guess you just meet the support group here and have a conversation, a meet and greet, you know, with those people. I think that is, to me, I think that is fine because it's not because we mix in partisan politics with national aspirations. We have to be careful about these things. If she's on a state visit, which well, not a state visit, she's not a state visit, but she's on a visit for the state, representing the state. She's not there representing NDC. Well,
so she should not engage in political activities with the NDC chapter. Your audio went out again. The audio is out.
I'm not hearing you.
Yeah, your audio went out. Are we live yet?
Yeah, we're live. Yeah.
Could you share it, please?
Yeah, I did. Okay, let me do it on this. Let me share it you on the WhatsApp page as well.
I'm just looking for political maturity, you know. There's certain protocols that govern these things, you know, and we have to adhere to them. It's about more than our own standards, but we have to look for for standards that from sort of look for the lead from first world countries where they follow these protocols. I think the only one that's probably exempt from that may be the prime minister. Okay, there's certain rules that exempts the prime minister from that. But if you're on a state, if you're on a visit representing the state, then you really should focus on the thing. And the groups organizing the events in New York was very guarded about that and did a good job in terms of involving people from both political parties. And we certainly should take a cue from the national leadership in Grenada, in that the delegation that came to New York was a bipartisan delegation.
Yeah.
So this is not about party. This is about country, and we have to.
So you're suggesting that when she come here, she shouldn't just meet with the NDC.
No political work. I'm very thing. We have to draw those lines.
Yeah. So okay. So she cannot be involved and meet and greet none of the people. That's what you're saying. Is it a policy or is it something that should not happen?
No, it's part of the travel protocol of a minister in government.
So how that is violated then? Why is this violated?
Because she's here representing the state of Grenada, not the NDC.
So she shouldn't meet with the group at all?
No.
So what if the group requested to meet with her? She should deny it?
She should not. The groups are going to have to understand that. And if they don't understand that, then they need to cease to function. Because you see, these were things that we were critical of the last administration of. So now that we're empowered, that we just drive a steamroller over the same roads? No.
This is news to me. I never really.
There are protocols. There are protocols. If you're on a state visit, it's different from if you're on a political visit for your party. If the party is invited her, then they pay the way, then they, or the party in Grenada pays for her, or whoever pays for her. But she's here on representing the state of Grenada, not NDC.
I want to find if she come here on the invitation of the group. If she come in group invitation, then that's a different story altogether. So
well, if she came here on the group invitation, that was a colossal mistake, because the NDC chapter in Toronto or New York or wherever else they exist should not be the body or entity inviting a minister to come to an independence celebration. That should always be handled through the consulate or the embassy.
Bandwidth is showing that is low. I don't know why he's doing this. Lucy Boney is joining us. Delbert, I have a friend here. She is a new listener to Gem FM, and she's from the Grenada Association, not Grenada Association, the Grenada Cultural Association. Lucy Boney, a volunteer who volunteered at the event. She came to the event and she realized there was a problem with parking, so she just employed herself.
The Boney name in Grenada is a very famous name,
I guess she became very famous for that. She took over the parking and make sure that everybody was able to park properly, and there was adequate parking and organized parking, which the group did not take into consideration. And she just took over. And she become the hunter down, who is this woman that take over the traffic parking for Grenada Day. And they found that this lady, just being a patriot, decided to lend her support. And she said in last week in an interview here, she said that she remember how the police give traffic in Grenada, so she just and just calling traffic up.
that was very good training, I suspect.
Yes. Look and learn. I think she looked and she learned well, so she took over herself. Hi, Lucy. Good morning. She's not hearing us. Lucy Boney? Yeah, boy, we have a bombshell in the city here. The mayor of Toronto resigned over a relationship affair he was having with one of his staff members. He's been in office since
border in Turkey or perhaps even in Syria. Roads are inaccessible.
Yeah, he was in office until since 2014, and he had an affair with a staff member, and that become a big problem in the city. You know, John Tory has resigned as mayor of Toronto. I'm gonna take this off here.
But what is the basis for the resignation?
Well,
He had an affair?
Like he had an affair with a staff member during the COVID time.
Was it consensual?
Well, yes, I guess, because he said, let me read what he says for you. John Tory resigned as Toronto mayor over an affair with former staff member. She got no a job in the public space. So they have no by-election coming up. He said the relationship with the employee developed during when he was spending long periods of time away from his wife, Barbara, whom he has been married for over 40 years. I recognize that permitting this relationship to develop was a serious error in judgment on my part, Tory said at City Hall, where he apologized unreservedly to the people of Toronto and to all those hurt by my actions, including my staff.
Listen,
And
if he been married for 40 years, he gets a pass with me. He stayed for 40 years married with one woman.
Yeah, but you know what?
We have to stop thinking we electing past morality in chief officers. We're electing people to run the affairs of the state or the county or the city or whatever. And that person having an affair, consensual, it's really none of my business. I don't.
And you know, my wife said the same thing you're saying this morning too. Similar thing, right? In that nature. I say that we have to look beyond that. I mean, that's a situation for he and his wife. But if he imagine this and the city well and doing well in the city and the city is prospering under his leadership, you know, I see, because sometimes he stepped down now and the whole city go in a mess. You know, people come to right after commit a mess of it.
I guess I will never be elected anything.
You know, but like I said, you know, one thing I said, you know, I mean, being away from your wife for extended period of time in the city in those lockdown times, you know, not going home, not taking your stay in hotels or stay places where you compromise your relationship at home is compromised by outside environment, you know, and he does not give you. I mean, like he said, it's his fault. Whatever transpired there between him and her has become the talk of the tongue now. But the former Prime Minister of Canada, when this mayor now was running for election, the former Prime Minister, John Chrétien, had Bell palsy, he mouth twist. So he's speaking one side of his mouth. He said, at least God gifted me with that, than you speaking on both sides of your mouth.
That's a good one.
And
I like
you
that.
know, he lost, that Tory guy lost the election. He only win 2 seats and he lost his, the party lost big time. Because Canada is very serious about making fun of disabled people, right? And when he made that statement, that resonated with the electorate.
Of course.
That went down like a bombshell. He was out of politics for a long time, and then he come back in 2014 and he won the seat as mayor of Toronto. So you're supposed to resign in 2026. Now, I would have stayed on. Yeah, I mean, only if you get pressure from his wife. If she's threatening, if you don't step down, she will expose you. I mean, he's exposed anyways, right? So who is behind that? The Toronto Star break this story. So the Toronto Star is always one of those party that paper is not in favor, in my view, is not a favored paper for the Tory-minded people. Okay. They brought down the present premier brother Rob Ford. I remember that, right? To me, I think they set him up. That's my opinion. It's not factual, but that's my feeling. And every story they ran after was a negative one on the mayor. You understand? So he also they watch dogging all the Tories' activity. Even the premier right now, I mean, he's been watched and mentioned closely by them as well. So anything they digging up any and everything on those, it's like Fox, you know, on the Democrat. They don't give it a break. So Mr. Tory, two reporters, he notified the office of the Integrity Commissioner of the relationship and asked him to review it, saying he believed it is important to avoid tarnishing the image of the office of the mayor, putting City Hall through a prolonged period of controversy over what he described as an error in judgment on his part. Well, you know, sometimes you have to take corrective measures. Doesn't mean that you have to throw your car if you have an accident. You know what I'm saying? You make a wrong lane change and the thing, you get your car fixed and continue driving again, right? So for me, I mean, let me tell you something, and that's what a lot of people saying. A lot of people say, men, nobody is faithful. Yes, men cheat. All men cheat. I'm sure you probably heard that several times.
It's not men. It's all people.
All people cheat. But you know, when all them who speak in the language, right? Is still tell, you know, if you answer telling the story of the hunt, you realize that the hunter lied too, right?
Well,
you know,
the man will always be king until the lion learns to tell its own story, right?
Exactly. So, and they say never give somebody a pen to write your story, write yourself, right? So all of that. So, but I would say, I mean, discipline him, yes. You know, like they did with the man, with the MB. You know, discipline him for a period of time, you know, let him sit down for a bit, you know.
No, listen, we need to grow up. I remember, I don't know how much years now Francois Mitterrand died, the former president of France.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe 20 years, 20 years plus.
Mm-hmm.
When Mitterrand was well-regarded French leader, you know, somebody who had fought de Gaulle and, you know, well-respected. And he was happily married for many decades.
Yeah.
But had two well-known girlfriends on the side who he had children with. That the French didn't care about that. And as a matter of fact, at his state funeral, his wife and his two girlfriends were there, all on their best behavior. I mean, we
asked me a question here one night on the show, right? About if my wife and I have an affair, what would I do? I say, well, what would I do? I wouldn't just divorce her just because of that, you know? First of all, I'm a God-fearing person. God says he hates it, okay? And so if he hates it, why do it? To displease God that we believe in, right? If I know Delbert hates shrimp, why should I cook shrimp and offer Delbert? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I won't do it. I will not divorce for that. Now, if I have an affair, I will want the same treatment as she towards me. You understand what I'm saying? However, 90% of divorce are initiated by women of level of intolerance. They don't want to handle that again, right? Among college students, it's 70% among college educated women, it's 90% that file for divorce, right? So John Tory, in his bid and his whatever he's doing today, people want to beat him up all over your head for it and stuff like that. But this is not something new. Almost every leader, person in authority, money, sex, and power corrupts. They get. You know,
I'm not going to be so narrow in my judgment on this. Listen, if you have a relationship, whether it's a relationship or you're married and you love and you're committed to that person, fine. There's something magical and wonderful about this. But that's for you as an individual. That's for you, and that's a that's why it's called a personal relationship between you and that individual.
Yeah.
So you guys, do whatever you have to do to. I don't believe in relationships that survive. It has to succeed. So if it's just surviving, then not kind of my thing.
It's not
But
enjoying, but enjoying it.
yeah, but I'm not making this judgment on political leaders. I don't know their situation.
Right.
So if the person is doing a good job, because you see, to me, in the West, we have not in the West, in America, we have this strange set of rules that governs morality.
Mhm.
And in some ways, America is a very immoral place, You have white supremacy who have used Christianity
Yeah.
to exploit people like me for hundreds of years,
Right.
and when we thought it went away, and now it's back, and it's back in a vengeance, and yet still we travel around the world and we try to tell people to all be like us, and that doesn't quite compute.
Yeah.
And in some way, America has become a very tribal nation, right? It was Malcolm X who said, 50 years ago, that the most segregated hour in America is Sunday morning at 11 a.m. when church thing, because Black folks and white folks worship separately. They use the same Bible, interpret it in massively different ways. It informs their lives very differently. I have come to a stage where I don't know any religious leader that impresses me or that I can say I can follow, outside of Reverend Barber out of North Carolina, who does the Poor People's Campaign. Because in my reading and my understanding of the scripture and the work that Jesus would have done and the theory behind him in terms of how he lived, this is the only person I can see living that life who truly, because there is no way you can say that you're godly or that you're, first thing, if your morality and your sense of goodness and kindness and humanity is based on religion, you have none. Okay? Your kindness and your humanity and your goodness have to come from within. It has to be something that's homegrown. So if what you call your humanity or your sense of kindness or your sense of helpfulness or your sense of community with the people within who you share, your daily lives with, comes from a religious perspective, I have zero respect for you. Zero, none whatsoever.
Right? Some people have a vain religion, right? And that is part of what it is, right? If people think of themselves higher than any other person with a religion, it's become vain. When it comes to relationship, people having their relationship and in office, in political offices and stuff like that, and they have affairs,
Okay, the audio is out again.
Okay, Hudson George is here. Hi, Hudson.
Yeah, sorry for being late, man. I'm trying to fix my thing for the laptop. I could pull it, but I'm doing it on a phone.
When I call what?
Good morning, comrade. You look like you're ready for the shebang tonight, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Joining tonight.
All right. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're here to bail me out from the religious pit that John.
No, well, I have to defend my northern eye. For me not to.
Hold on, we have a lady here, Lucy J. Lucy Boney. Good evening, Lucy. Hey. How you doing?
I'm good. She's from Tivoli. They changed the Tony River. She's really from St. Patrick. They just Tony River.
Hey, Lucy, put a Tony camera on, Lucy.
I can't. I'm getting my hair done for tonight.
Oh, all right.
But I wanted
to get my hair done too.
Lucy, I had a haircut too.
But listen,
All of us are the one.
I want to listen. I want to go right back. I was trying to get you to you guys and I couldn't get you, but I want to go right back to what the guy was saying concerning the minister coming up for the thing. I was going crazy because I can't get you to straighten him.
Well, you could attempt, but I'll tell you that you're wrong.
I think your opinion, I'm going right back. Your opinion.
It's not an opinion. It's not
Hold
an opinion.
on, Deborah. Let you finish.
No, but it's not an opinion.
Okay.
And that's what the problem is. You got to learn to listen.
Yeah.
Listen, because we have to agree to disagree. If the lady, if she person come up for the whatever is going on, what if she have relatives here that invite her to come in because she's from a party she cannot come? I find that make no sense what you were saying.
Obviously,
you cannot label her because she's a member of a party. You can't label the person. She's a Grenadian too.
I think you listen to respond instead of trying to listen to understand
so
what
I'm
I was talking about. Because you completely mischaracterized what I said. And
because you were saying she's not supposed to come to represent a party or whatever. In the beginning and in the end and in the middle, she is a Grenadian. She can come wherever she wants.
That's sorry.
What is the argument?
No, hold on.
So hold on. So that is nonsense. That is nonsense. Let's establish that fact.
But yours is nonsense. So go ahead.
So you don't understand the protocol that I'm talking about, and that's okay. And sometimes it's okay for us to listen and learn. What I'm talking about here is about diplomatic and state protocol. Okay. And obviously from your comment, it's not something that you are praised to. Hudson, basically what I'm saying is that if a minister in government, she's here as a minister representing the Grenadian government at the celebration, she is not supposed to involve herself in any partisan political engagement. That's my point. It's simple.
So the gala is a political gala?
No,
the gala is a state event.
Okay.
But she has.
Listen the point. You listen to respond.
Okay,
you did not listen to understand.
Which is the minister? Which minister?
The one from Guelph, Shirin. She's here, and she been making the wrongs, and she been with the greater the NDC support group in Toronto. They had a get together, and she was at the get together.
No, I don't think she should do it now. She should come back at other time.
Absolutely.
What we have is that we have whatever point. We have in a national celebration.
Exactly.
Independence. So what she should do, she should address the entire Grenadian community and then come back next time for the chapter of the NDC. This is where we just fail. If we want to become democratic, sometimes we have to know when is holistic and when is institutionalized with the political organization.
Thank you very much. Thank
because
you.
we elect government to serve the people. So there is times for, after the celebration, after the celebration is over, then she should meet the party group, but not during.
My thing is that she shouldn't meet them at
during.
Once you hear listen, this is not something that's debatable.
No, that's what you correct.
Hold on. So let Delbert, let me ask you.
It's not debatable. They are diplomatic protocol, and probably this is the first time you're hearing that phrase. So I would just advise that you listen and learn.
Okay, so Delbert, I want to ask something because I wasn't privy to that. Right? That's one thing I get lapsed in that one. I thought it was okay. I never saw anything wrong with it. Now, hear me out. I didn't know that it was not protocol for that to happen. Right now. The grouping of individuals who did that, I know I have to question them on that because I'm a member of the group. I never knew about it. I didn't attend the last meeting, so I did not know. Now I know that, right? I've learned something now that this can be done. So in the event of that happening next time, You know?
But John, not a matter of cutting you. They do it without realizing what they're doing.
Exactly.
Yeah, I guess.
They didn't know. They didn't know.
They don't know. They don't do it because they mischief or anything.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's not mischievous. I think it's just
No. We're not saying.
Do you know that and I'll take it so you understand it even a little bit. And this I'm just going to use the US as a reference, but it happens in other major industrialized Western first world nation. For example, during the presidential campaign in the US, right? The president is the president. So if you have a president that's running for a re-election, he doesn't stop being president. So wherever he's going, the whole shebang of how a president moves with him. But if he's going on a political event, like part of his campaign, his re-election campaign, his campaign has to compensate the government for his travel.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
So in other words now, so in that case with Shireen coming here, the group had to compensate, would have to compensate for her travel.
Yes, because they don't know. They don't mean bad, but they don't know until what is correct.
Okay.
I mean, there's diplomatic protocol.
Yeah.
I
know of some, but this one I didn't.
And if we're going to move forward as a nation, these are things that we have to learn.
So Delbert, hold on, Hudson. So Delbert, is this constitutional or just policy of government?
No, it's not government policy.
It's protocol. It's
I don't think it's the government policy. You see, the point is that what happened with us? We say democracy, but we're still struggling with the rules of democracy. For example, I will give you a story. When the NDC beat the NNP in 2008, now, the thing we did at Ola's restaurant, I was the first person who does right, was called to do that. And we used to do it in the consulate. Me and that guy, Bude, Stephen Douglas.
Yes.
And we dressed nice. The consulate tell us put suit and tie come, and we had a nice read. But Bude say he want money.
Okay.
I didn't see those money. I keep going, and then it grow.
Yeah.
And we bring more writers. We bring more Collins. We bring an Aberdeen lady. She from River Sally, and she live in Harlan or Sweden now. And then we bring different people. I think the other year they bring Chris DeWeeks. They bring people we read.
Right.
But when the NDC beat the NNP, we so political. There were guys in the NNP who were NNP Indian Grenada Association.
Okay.
But how does the Grenada Association? They didn't see it as a Grenada Association. They think is an NNP association. So you know what happened?
Okay.
Mr. Vivek, who was the counselor during the NNP time, me and him was good friend. He dead now. He came here and he said, Hudson, it seems like we're going to have two independence celebration in Canada. I want you to do something for me. He said, Hudson, I know you don't, you are open, clear person, you will say it as it is. And Mr. Vivek is an NNP man. He taught Kit Mitchell in school. So he was the counselor. He told me to write and told those guys online. Well, those days we had Spice Island attack shop.
Yeah.
What they're doing is wrong. They were selling tickets.
Yeah.
You know, and I did it and I said, it is against Tillman Thomas is coming up. He's the prime minister. You cannot have two independence celebration.
Yeah.
The same group of people that caused Mr. Vivek, and Mr. Vivek was not an NDC. But they're trying to put sense in their head to tell them the prime minister is coming. You cannot. You belong to the Grenada Association. The Grenada Association, the prime minister is the head of state.
Yeah.
They had to give back the people the money for the TV. But then I pay the price for it. That's usually the case, my brother. When you because people don't understand. And then if I was not in this during that time, but the man no have sense.
Yeah.
And he said, Tell them they're wrong.
Right.
So we have to do things with sense.
So now this is something that has to be corrected as it stands right now.
As we move forward,
We have to grow.
Nobody's
So from a diplomatic point of view, the policy that you don't do that, period. Yes.
No, you don't do that.
And it's ethical also.
Okay. So that's
And the side, the one of the benefits of that is that you can use it as a vehicle to unite your people.
right. So in that case, if the NDC support group doing that, they should invite all Grenadians to come out and to be part of that.
No, they cannot do it at all.
They can't do it
They
at all.
shouldn't.
It cannot be held under the
NDC
auspices of a political party. It has to be.
Hold on. One person at a time. I can't listen to.
Yeah, let Delbert go.
No, any event concerning independence or any event of national significance cannot be held under the auspices of a political party.
Okay.
It has to be held under the an organ of the state, and the organ of the state in Toronto is the consulate, just as it is in New York. So this organization have to represent everybody, irrespective of who is in power.
So let me ask you a question, but you're not, because you guys seem to be expert on that. So if as she's here and she's with family members and they go into that event, right? Going to that event, they have a get together and she say, hey, we're going to the event, can you come along with us? And she go. Is she at fault to do that? Because she should do that.
But now shouldn't be the time for it.
That was my question. That's what I was
No.
Hold on.
But John,
Yeah.
John,
that was my question. That's what I really wanted to know.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about the meeting, but this is what I really wanted to clear up. That was my question, exactly.
What event are you talking about?
No, they had a sort of a social get together. The group had a social evening, and she apparently she got invited to that. So I'm asking if
I don't know how difficult is that. She should not be attending any partisan political event.
That's what I'm asking you. That's what I'm asking. That's what I want to know.
Okay, John, let me add on my
I got it. I just want to make sure that me and Lucy are on the same page. And
yeah, well, let me add on it.
We're getting educated here this morning.
We're going to listen. We're listening.
Yeah. We have an independence celebration going on now.
Right.
It hasn't complete.
Right.
After the completion, then those things could happen. If you want to do it separate. You know, see when we had the poetry reading, we said we don't want to make it political.
Yeah, we don't want to make it political.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got to bring people together. There is time for partisan politics, and there is time for other things.
So she can't go anywhere until that is over. She has to be a ghost. She has to go.
No. You're mixing this up. Nobody says she can't go anywhere. She cannot involve in any partisan political activity.
Okay, got that. All right. So now we know.
I understand now.
All right.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So
we don't mean any bad. We just
we just want to know.
All right. Remember,
education.
The NDC.
We learn.
Yes. The NDC have to try to not to antagonize people. Try to win people.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, they've been doing that for the longest while.
Yeah, but what I'm saying.
You remember?
But what are we trying to tell you, lady? The ball is in the court. So do it smoothly. Don't try to
ruffle no feathers.
Irritate people.
Yeah. All right.
You want to make 2-term, 3-term in power. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Well, you can't make one bad apple spoil the whole bunch. You can't
no. We're not saying anything is bad.
When you say
they didn't understand.
When you say
the reality is that only 2 Grenadian leaders were able to unite our country, Gary and Bishop.
Yeah.
They're the only 2. All right.
I know you have a third guy. If you give him a chance, maybe he might be able to do it too.
Yeah. Well, he's new to the game,
exactly.
Right? But whatever you want to say, Gary was able to unite Grenada.
Yes.
Okay. And then Bishop did it. Yeah. Everybody else have failed at that task.
Right.
No, even when Keith was winning 50-0, all right, he didn't unite Grenada because his governments were always a minority number of votes given the registrants. All right. So he didn't unite Grenada.
Right.
So we really have to use the tools of the state, those instruments, to see how we can unite people, how we can bring people together. Okay. And until we think about it in your house, in your household, in your family. If you had 5 children and you decided for some reason that I'm only going to support 2, I'm only going to educate 2, I'm only going to feed 2, I'm only going to spend time with this 2 or this 3, how is that going to work out?
How are we going to work out?
It won't. It won't. You're going to destroy your own family.
And you have some animosity between sibling rivalry and stuff like that.
Of course. So that's if you extrapolate that, that's the country. Our country is a family of people.
It's a family of people.
So
do you know that change of government?
Hold on a second. We have 15 minutes to go. They're about to come back here for 2 o'clock. And Mr. Michael Baptiste, they'll be back here at 2 o'clock. All right. I have to get ready for tonight.
It's going to be fireworks with my cousin.
Your cousin Michael?
Yes. They'll be back here this evening, 3 of them. They'll be having a special Hudson, you should chime in on that show because the topic is... No. This is your permission. I get permission from Pablo for a show. No, I said he could chime in. He could chime in.
Okay, all right. I'll go on.
Because the topic is about regional integration.
All right. You said 2 o'clock.
2 o'clock, right? Exactly 2 o'clock. We're back here with Pablo. I know the 2 batsmen from either.
They're related.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Pablo will be the only bowler beekeeper. You know what I mean? 2 batsmen.
No. I have not spoken to Michael. We do text each other regularly, but I haven't spoken to him in a few weeks. I don't know what his position is on regional integration, and I have a fairly nuanced position on it, and mine is evolving. And I'm thinking it through, so I'm adding stuff to it and may take away stuff from it. But what I do know is that every other region in the world, especially where you're challenged population-wise, all right, are moving to unite along cultural and geographic lines to better compete in a globalized society.
Right.
We are arguably one of the smallest regions in the world. Okay. And we think that we'll be able, Grenada, 133 square miles combined, 88,000 acres of 110 or so thousand people living on the island, maybe 250 to 280,000 Grenadians living out in the diaspora. All right. We think that we can compete. No, we can't.
Okay, so Hudson had a poem on Tuesday night. What is Barbados? I don't know if you want to, as we're doing Caribbean Connections, if you want to drop a few lines on us, but
I'm interested to hear that.
Yes.
Well, the thing is, Delbert really raised it up. So
yes, that's why.
What did he say? Raise it up.
Yes.
But this in geography, they tell us you have Greater and Lesser Antilles, right? Right? Cuba is the greater. Cuba is the greater. Haiti, Dominican Republic, Jamaica, and Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
But they didn't say the Bahamas because the Bahamas is a scramble of islands.
Yes.
But if you add up all the square miles of the Bahamas Islands, Bahamas is bigger than Jamaica as a country.
Right.
Yes.
When you add up all the island square miles, it's bigger than Jamaica. But they tell you small island and big island. Right? Politically, but geographically, Barbados is one of the smallest islands in the Caribbean.
Yeah, 166.
Furthermore, Barbados might have more square miles than Grenada, but Grenada have more land mass, more land. Based on Grenada folding mountains. Wherever the mountain is falling is more acreage of land.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So the poem is small island, big island, Windward Island, Leeward Island. But what is Barbados?
Yeah, how did they get to be what do I call them? how did they get to be, they call them, there was another Tom Hudson there.
The big four in the Caribbean.
Yeah, the MDCs, the MDCs.
Yeah. The big four was Trinidad, Guyana.
Yeah. Meanwhile,
Barbados and Jamaica.
And meanwhile, the standard of living in Guyana was so low.
Low. And then I asked the question in the poem.
Yeah.
I asked the question in the poem. Dominica are more square miles than Barbados, but it's a small island.
Almost
12 miles than Barbados, but it's a small island. So what is Barbados?
Hold on. Let us do the whole piece first. Let's do the whole piece first. Let me listen.
You like what listening, sir?
Yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I will give you a taste.
Give us the whole poem.
Small island, big island, Windward Island, Leeward Island. What is Barbados? Small island, big island. Haiti, Dominican Republic, Cuba, Jamaica, Puerto Rico. Big. What is Barbados? Then they say again, Dutch Antilles, French Antilles. What is Barbados? Dominica, St. Lucia, both of them are more square mile than Barbados. Yet them is a small island. So what is Barbados? And when I read it, when people say, well, maybe Barbados is Little England. Small island, big island.
I hope you have no intention to travel through Bridgetown on your way to Grenada.
What is Barbados?
You will be banned from some Grantley Island.
You know, when I heard this poem before Tuesday night,
yeah,
I began to think about the history and the whole idea of the Caribbean islands together, and it makes sense because Barbados is still the smallest of all of
the smallest island in the Caribbean,
but yet it has a big appearance. You know, I heard it being across. You're right, Hudson. And again, that's why we have you here. You're always the historian and the
Trinidad. You know, Trinidad is in the Lesser Antilles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After Trinidad, the next biggest island in the Lesser Antilles is Dominica.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question then. So calling it the Lesser Antilles, what was the intention in your view? Why they call it the Lesser Antilles? Just for our listeners' sake.
Well, you are the Greater Antilles and the Lesser Antilles. The Antilles, I think the word comes from French or Dutch. And then when the British come, they say West Indies. Because they say the Dutch Antilles, the French Antilles, but they say British West Indies. You see? It's just terminology.
But hold on. Going back to the point of Columbus say you're going to go to
Yeah, you got to repeat. We didn't hear you.
No,
we didn't hear you. You had a little laugh.
I was saying that Columbus traveled. He took people. He said taking them to India, and he lost his way, ended up in the Caribbean. I call it the West Indies, right? And then you have the Lesser Antilles, the Greater Antilles. You have the Caribbean Sea. How do we make the argument against the West Indies compared to the Caribbean islands?
Well, first thing, I don't use that term. I no longer use that term.
It's John. The same thing. That's why I came up. I wanted to do a poem about how we use words, and we say some words are bad and some words. Because the word, remember I was trying to do something, but where I use the word poel. In Grenada, the word poel. When you talk about poel, people think you're common. But in French, poel means hair.
Yes.
So the hair around our pubic, around our armpit and in private part, when we say poel in Grenada, people think it's a dirty word.
Yeah.
But poel means hair.
You
see?
So hold on. Let me, I hope you guys are hearing me. When you use You,
It's only you could make those.
That's what. It's not
I
only
love,
me.
I love those connections.
You see,
Yeah.
the people in St. Patrick,
Yeah.
what are you live from St. George's? We keep more cultural things.
Right.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. As you leave the town and you're coming up, that's where you grow the real Grenadian nitty gritty. I want the next politics clash again, you know. We got to get about 5.
John, the audio is out again.
Yeah.
Hey, John.
But John, the thing is that those calling these, which is one region, okay, none of us, if you really think of it, none of us is flying time, direct flight is more than an hour from the furthest point to all right? Within an hour and 15 minutes, you know, even though it takes us 3 days to go from Grenada to Antigua, direct flight time is about 40 minutes if you take it.
Delbert, you know you're absolutely correct. For American or Canadian, Alice place on them is close.
Yes.
Because of the mindset.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you have to understand that these titles and names in many ways were created to keep us separated.
Divided.
Yes.
Yes. I
think Maurice Bishop make a very profound statement when he says
but Maurice spoke about the languages, which is also correct.
Exactly.
But even within those of us who grew up speaking the Krong's English, right? We were still separated. The MDCs and the LDCs, the Greater Antilles and the Lesser Antilles, the Windward Islands and the Leeward Islands, and all this nonsense. All right.
But Barbados never get the stigma. So what is Barbados?
Well, Barbados enjoyed this so-called privilege because remember the royal family used to vacation there.
Oh yeah, they still give them more things than everybody.
Yes. So all the hospitals and so many things they named after the British royal family, and that's why. And I know I've been on record for years now saying it. I saw an article in one of the Ghanaian paper this week that basically said, "Can Sir Leroy Beckles be taken seriously as the leading spokesman for repatriation and anti-colonialism in the Caribbean and still carry the title sir? Can he be taken?"
I don't take him serious.
Because once you tell me so, I tune you out. I tune you out.
I tune you
I
out.
want to hear what you have to say. I don't care how important it is. I tune you out. If you seriously think that we deserve repatriation, and he has some really important points to make. I saw him speak about the connection between how slavery actually probably changed our DNA. All right. It's a very deep topic, and it's something that the people in the Caribbean scientific community needs to explore, okay? You getting into these heavy topics, but you still want to be introduced as so? Barbados just call themselves a republic, but their first president is somebody who was knighted by the Queen.
They have to give up these things. If we want to change, it's just like I don't listen to Louis Farrakhan. Because you can't tell me about African struggle and you're still promoting Islam.
Yeah, because Islam had slavery on us before the white man.
Islam slaves started slaving us even before the white man.
Yes. These are uncomfortable truths. Hudson, they don't like to hear it.
Hold on. Yeah. Hold on. So where that is Louis Farrakhan, Islam, that's his religion. But again, not every Muslim was involved in slavery.
No, not every Christian was involved in slavery either.
But John, not every white man was involved in slavery.
Exactly my point. So why you say you listen to him because he promoting Islam?
But then he always beating them on the European slavery, but he never talk about the Arab slave trade.
I think I heard him. I think I heard him say talk about
how many times? So
yeah, but he make mention of
you can't
it.
take people like that serious.
Hold on. You're sounding like those people who want Bogo and all those men to a party and they meet somebody.
No. Okay. Let me make it clear for you. Let me make my point clear for you. Let me make it clear for you.
Yeah.
Louis Farrakhan is supposed to be a black leader for black people against this struggle against racism. Yes. But when you're doing it, you cannot doing it one way. You have to do it both ways. For example, just about 6 months ago, the first black woman get a job on television in Iraq. That was a big news.
Right.
There was slavery in Mauritania not too long ago.
Yeah, but again,
we don't talk about those things.
But hold on.
Yeah.
I understand that. But this is from a state point of view. The religion itself, people who are all Catholics are all guys that didn't get engaged.
But if you want to defend your race,
but
your race.
John, there was no separation between the religion and the state coming out of the Arab countries. There was none. They were the same thing.
But the same. So if you want to be a spokesman for black people, you have to hit it wherever it is bad.
Yes. Well, I guess I play the
because it's
hold on. I play the advocate here. Colonel Gaddafi gave my horse $1 million, right? Gaddafi
was a radical leader.
Hold on, man. Hold on, let me say something. Gaddafi gave him the money. Other Arab countries Muslims going to give him money too, right? So he would not denounce them in the sense that we want him to do it, right? Because that's again, like I say, who pays the piper to get the tune? You know what I mean? So it's all what it is. It's politics all across the board, right?
No, it's not. It's not politics.
You can't play politics with my race.
It's not politics. It's money.
It's money.
It's money. Okay, put it up with money. However, guys, now it's 12:02. I gotta get ready to get out of here. I just want you to get Hudson's opinion and Lucy's opinion before we go there, but on the mayor Hudson, Mayor Tory and his resignation of over the affair. What are your thoughts on Mayor Tory
was in a love affair, right?
Wow, I didn't know
a
that.
Love affair scandal.
I didn't know. I didn't hear that one.
John, when he come back. So Lucy, where you from?
Okay, Lucy. I didn't hear Lucy. So
no.
John.
Hold on, but let Lucy go. Lucy, let me hear you.
Yeah, I was saying that. Oh, you want to know where I'm from? I'm from Grenada, and I'm from Tempe, St. George's.
Okay, I know it's somewhere on the Bolio area.
Okay.
No, yeah.
So Lucy,
about the John Tory thing, I never heard. Never heard of it.
Okay.
Yeah, tell us what happened with John Tory.
I never heard. I never heard, so I can't comment.
But if you tell me, maybe I could say something.
No, I said I never heard the story, so I can't comment.
No, it's Hudson. It's rumored that he has either resigned or is preparing to resign from office because of a consensual affair.
Yeah.
So what's so big like that about that?
But he chose to do that because he get caught out. The Toronto Star reported it, and no, Toronto Star is not a friend of Conservative Party in this country, right?
Whether it's conservative or not, what's so big about that? No, let me tell you something. One morning I wake up, I say I go into Walmart. I see ladies walking in the panties.
That's all.
The first one I saw, I said was a crazy person. Then I see more girls. If you see legs, and the girls looking good. So then when I find out, they said there is no pants.
No pants.
Eh? No pants. The girls in panties. Everything outside. So
everything.
If you the
hold on. What's the matter question? So how you stand up with that? You stand up from?
Well, I mean, I'm a man. I've seen so many only panties. So now if you would have no pants, right? Every year, no pants day. Girls in panties.
I think they
So
have.
if the mayor had a little thing on the side, he didn't rip. I don't see anything big about that.
I think in France they have a no panties there also. They walk the
In
street.
New York, have it too.
And most of it, the women
they ride the subway, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and,
so-
hold on. And the single women who have no man at all, they dress naked, they dress birthday suit, no panty, no bra, nothing. They walk the street of France. And suddenly, because these are the women who looking for other feeling.
France is always a liberal society.
Exactly. The French handle that in an eye beat.
There are two Western, quote unquote, Western countries that leaders are allowed to fool around and nobody say nothing.
And France is one of them.
France and Israel.
Yeah.
They say a lot of Israeli leaders, the males, they have lots of girls like Caribbean leaders. When Francois Mitterrand was dying,
Exactly.
when he was about to die, he told his wife, he have a mistress and other children.
Yeah.
And before he's dead, he bring the two ladies.
Together.
The day of the burial, the two ladies come with the children. Francois Mitterrand of France.
They were at the state funeral.
So hold on, Lucy.
Hey.
So let me hear you. So now you hear what happened. What are your thoughts on that whole thing now? Now the mayor have had a he resigned over that.
So that was this week news?
Yeah, this week news, yeah.
Oh my God. So you want to know my opinion of if he should resign? Resign?
Yeah.
Well, but where the world is going right now, everybody have fault. So I don't know. Everybody have fault. Nobody shit white.
Look, man, that happening from the pulpit to the pew. Yeah. Society. Okay.
Okay, John.
I don't think there is. I think there is more values anymore in any society.
But John, we have to look at it from a other perspective.
Yeah, go ahead.
Suppose mayor wife is going through menopause. And what you want the mayor to do?
Okay.
No, listen, let's talk on a serious base now. The guy, his job, what he does, what he did, what he's doing was very good. So we cannot put that aside.
Yeah.
And that affair thing, that become like, you see how people didn't used to agree with somebody is transsexual, whatever the word is. People didn't agree with it, and it used to bother people's mind. I know everybody's almost everybody on the same page now. This thing with somebody cheating and whoever, whatever, that becomes stale news. That's not big news anymore. If the man is doing a great job, that's his marital affair. Whatever is happening, that's his personal inside business. But there's certain things we cannot overlook. If he molests a small child and things like that, then you say that's out.
Yeah. And you know something, guys, and let me say this, right? Now, a lot of folks in church go make and listen me carefully, yeah? A lot of people in church go say, well, he can't do this, he can't do that, right? But some people glorify David and King Solomon and all these other men in the Bible.
Of course.
Yeah, because they were human beings.
As a matter of fact, David is my favorite character in the Bible.
Exactly. So, and that our church people's favorite character too. But in the same tone, they don't remember David had a long locks on his head. They won't talk about okay. They won't talk about David set up a man to get killed because he want the wife. You understand? So when you look at Solomon, the book of Solomon, you must set your explicit statements in that Solomon, book of Solomon, about rubbing the man in his thighs and playing with the tools, sucking on the woman's breasts and all this stuff is written right there. But
there's a psalm that says it's good for the old man heart. Yes,
but even when Solomon died, they bring a virgin for him So my position is this, and I said that somebody asked me.
So John, is that the origin of the Islam believe that if you die as a martyr, you get 40 virgins in heaven?
Well, Islam is a duplicate of the Torah.
Of course it is. Of course.
It is.
Just one little tweak.
Just change the thing around.
Look,
Yes.
There is also a story in the Bible.
hold on, Hudson. Look at it, right? Abraham, right, and Sarah. He was in the land to get her pregnant, right? They get old age. She tell the husband, go and go school the maid. Go sleep with her and get a child. No, she permits him to go ahead and do it.
And that's going on in the Middle East and Africa still.
Do you think my wife today could tell me go and sleep with me? You understand? Do I agree from this?
Because we westernized. There was a story in the Bible. You ever read that one? The guy was the judge of that area where if a woman is not married and she's pregnant, they go stone her to death.
Yes.
Yes. The guy was traveling. He met a woman by the road. I know she was begging her. He asked her for sex. She gave him.
Yes.
He had sex with the woman.
Yes.
But the woman was smart. The guy had a stick, old time men. When he was going, she said, "Can I have your stick?"
Yes.
He gave her.
Yes.
Months later, the woman was pregnant. They take her to the same guy.
To judge.
To judge her. And when he sentenced her to death, she raised the stick and she said, "Do you remember that stick?"
Yes.
When he see the stick, he realized you are the pregnant. He had to take it out. And they make twins, baby.
Yeah.
And that is one the line where they said Jesus come from.
The condemn line. They call it condemn line.
Right.
So I'm saying the hypocrisy of church today and
Ruth sent Naomi and sleep with Boaz. Because Boaz like to drink.
Well, okay.
And Boaz didn't have a wife.
So those so-called Western standards that we were forced to accept and invite into our lives what came out of the British monarchy and the German.
Yes, the British.
All right. But meanwhile, Hudson, they were intermarrying
among themselves. They're living like lions.
Exactly.
They're inbreeding.
Yes. Meanwhile, they're doing that. So it's don't do what we say. Don't worry about that. Don't do what I say. Don't do what I do. Do as I say.
What I say, yes. but I will not be on tonight. I'm going to the Grenada Gala.
Okay.
But we'll be back here. I'll be back with you about Pablo.
Your audio out.
Yeah, man. Well, you must join us one night, Miss Bonnie.
Huh?
You must join us one night.
I understand exactly. And one night with where?
When John program, come online with us.
Sometimes Friday night, sometimes Saturday night.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't be shy.
What's your name, Mr. Jacket?
My name is Hudson.
Delbert and Hudson.
Delbert Hudson. There's another lady that's be there called Margaret Francis.
Margaret Francis. And
Okay.
And other people that's be there. Two others be there sometimes, different people.
All right.
I went to school with some
Hudson.
people.
Yeah.
Mr. Hudson.
Yeah.
I appreciate the education, and I hope one day we'll get to meet so we can box it out.
Yeah. We could have a nice discussion, man.
Listen, but like when we had Grenada Day one time, Keith Mitchell came up, the ex-Prime Minister, and I really wanted to meet him, but I didn't meet him because I was so busy doing parking and we parked so far, right?
Yeah.
I really wanted to meet him. And then what I'm trying to say is people come in, and that was Grenada Day for the whole of Grenada, and he visited too. So I'm kind of confused when NDC is doing something now and people have all kind of thing to say.
No, it's not anything. It's just the protocol.
Oh, yeah.
Because we're in the independence celebration.
And
Grenada Day is a celebration, honey.
Yeah.
No, but the Grenada Day is not a national celebration. That's our Toronto celebration.
Yeah.
No, it's the
That's
same.
the difference.
It's the same thing.
No, it's not the same.
But Lucy, it's not the same.
It's not the same.
Because it's not held under the auspices of the state.
The state, yeah. different. State enterprises.
One is Marco and one is Michael.
Michael and Marco.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, talking about that, next week, Saturday night, we want to
Mm.
talk about the marketing board because the Michael and Marco thing didn't work in that one. They gone totally out of the grid in this one. So I hope you don't get Bonner to come on.
I want to, John, if we could set up to have a conversation with B-Man before we speak about that.
Yes.
Mm.
But, I was saying this stuff because he spoke about it last week, Saturday morning with Tester. All right.
Yeah.
He was like really, really disturbed by that, you know, and the functioning of the party of the enterprise. They go way off grid on it. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I was putting the setting it up and for that was really
I'm seeing all kind of comments on Facebook by people who have no idea what they're talking about. How marketing board came into operation, how soon after marketing board was initiated, it became profitable, and all these things. And it's just shameful that we don't know our history.
But I don't think the government directly want to get rid of marketing.
No, they're not getting rid of it.
I think they want to restructure it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But people politicizing it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think you just want to.
You know what the sad thing about it is? The very sad thing about all that thing is that people do not understand what the function of the MNIB is for, right? Some people just had their head buried in the sand about it. And you see, I think it's okay. So if MNIB losing $2 million,
You might keep going off. Your audio going off.
employ more people, and then by employing more people, right, they still receive more money because more people walk in. You understand? So where you lose, you're investing to back it up, to hold it together for $2 million, you bring in $5 million on the back end in the macroeconomics of it, right? You keep it going. I mean, look at the Delbert and Hudson and Lucy. In America, a lot of enterprises that is state enterprises supported by government. A lot of it
subsidized.
The marketing board situation is an interesting one. Obviously, we don't have all the facts. So we're speaking from our experiences, our own experiences in business and largely by perception. But I would have handled it differently.
I said, I think the owner of the money, I didn't have a statement out there that how much money they owe the creators and things. You really get
I think the government approach is not totally wrong, because what they did,
do a consensus.
They did town hall meeting to fill the people for, because you know, we from an oral tradition society.
Yes, of course.
What's going out, and sometimes people could send out the wrong information. So you have to feed the people first before you make the change. But I don't believe they want to get rid of the body totally. They must want to restructure.
And Hudson, that's exactly what I talk about when I say it should have been handled differently. Even though if you took the same decision, the decision was basically announced in a press release. Marketing board is an important part of the Grenadian tapestry.
Yes.
Okay. It's part of who we are. It's, for whatever reason, it's one of the remaining institution created by the revolution. Cassandra posted something that which I have no way of thinking, and I know she's very learned in that area, that she said the act that created marketing board was done in 1973. I am not aware, Hudson.
Yes. I think B-Man speak to that last week in a private.
I read something about that, but I never knew that too either.
But the government, what the PRG did, just bring it into fulfillment.
Because I remember Gary had a thing called Green Fingers. So maybe it's from what they call Green Fingers.
So what I would do, what I would have done, since it's such an important issue, and since that the Prime Minister had actually engaged what I think magnificently in the consultation, the open consultation, that kind of in that oral sense, Hudson, because our people communicate in that way.
Oral tradition, they know.
They're not going to write no emails like me and you.
No. We belong to a different generation.
You know something?
They want you to come to them and let
Face
them
to
say what they have to say right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if they're eating roast coconut, and they use a roast coconut, eat it.
Yes. So what I
Bread
think,
nut and chat to them. That's what they do.
My only, I wouldn't even call it a criticism, but my only difference in terms of how I would have handled it, I would have held a press conference to announce it. And I would have had the workers there and obviously invited the press and let people ask as much questions as there are. Since you are comfortable with your decision, you'll be able, you have studied the issue, in depth. You'll be able to answer all the questions. You're not going to make everybody happy, but it'll be an opportunity for you to explain. And that's the only difference how I would have.
I think that when we go town hall now, and the PR talking about those meetings, community meetings we used to have, Gary started meeting people too. You know what I mean? So all of this, I'm saying all of to say that a lot of things that the PRG has done, Gary had already started those projects.
Well, John, the reason why it is like that.
Right?
Gary was the beginning.
Yes, and the PRG never tossed out Gary ideas.
And we just called it a different name.
Yes.
Why you evolve?
As a matter of fact, the success of the PRG was based on the blueprint of Gary's work.
Every government take from the next one.
So
doesn't matter which one.
But hold on now, Hudson. When Kitchener came in, they destroyed a lot of what the PRG had in place. Right? Those
they destroyed, but they kept some too.
Yeah, they kept some, but those will be really relevant to people.
But John, that was not their decision. That decision was coming from Washington. Get rid.
The first NNP government was put by the Americans.
Get rid of as much anything.
Eugenia Charles. Tom Adams put in the first NNP government. Yeah. We know that.
Yes.
And any remnants of this revolutionary boys and them, get rid of them. Even yesterday in the debate on marketing board, which was a very good conversation, I think our friend Dr. Pancho had done a post, and there was a good conversation going on, and I expressed my view. And this guy who I've been living in his head rent free now for a couple of years, say, don't listen to that old Chantimel communist. So he said,
well, I heard someone said that, somebody called the marketing board a socialist idea, and I laugh because
because people too narrow-minded.
And this is an educated person. I'm talking about a highly educated person. I guess common sense just went out the window in that case,
But Canada is using socialism in the system.
Yes, big time.
We have socialism in our system in Canada. And Canada is a capitalist country. So
the biggest socialist country in the world is the United States.
Yeah, there is socialism in it too.
I think Martin Luther King said they're practicing socialism for the poor, for the rich, and capitalism for the poor.
But socialism is something you can't get rid of.
No,
and
you can't.
They move from a smaller ghetto to a larger one. You know what I mean? So I think Dr. Eger says most men and women, 90% of us, live in economic and occupational slavery. Whatever like it or not. That's where we are. Folks, I gotta go.
All right, man.
Anyway, you said 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
2 o'clock.
Yeah,
that should be a really good conversation.
Yeah.
All right.
John, fix that thing.
All right, Miss Boney.
All right.
Okay, take care. All right, Miss Boney.
All right. Nice meeting you guys.
Thank you.
All right, cool.
Ciao.
But it's not easy to bring up babies in the Caribbean. You see? So I have been studying why we have such strange people walking around these days. And I could trace it back to where we brought up our children. See, in the old days, when you had a baby, you had it home, right? So only the midwife, would come home and you have the baby. So you know which baby is yours because one baby in the house. But no problem. So either BWI, the midwife, or the stock, or the baby. Nowadays, you have to go in the hospital.